Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Starmade. Today I want to have some progression with our new station here, but before we go too big we have to think about the Mothership implementation. Someone actually suggested to kind of dock the Mothership as much as docking is possible with a ship of this size. And I think what I want to do is actually park the mother ray down below here and then just kind of have two clamps on the left and the right side holding it in place. I don't think we can actually go with docking units for the mothership. This would probably crash the server and most likely also the entire internet. But we can do our best in order to make it actually look cool. So the first step is probably to park the mothership. I'm currently inside of the mothership. Let's actually have a look at the dimensions of the ray. You can see it is approximately the right size actually. It totally is, you cannot deny that. Okay, so let's fly a little bit forwards and see what actually happens. I'm gonna get outside just to see. Oh, yeah, I will have to go down a lot more. So we're gonna do that. Get down, get down. Of course, we will have to implement some kind of a system which makes it a lot easier to eyeball this. Okay, we are still a little bit slanted, but oh man, I can totally imagine this happening. I'm really sorry for this chauvinistic act here. I remember in the first season of Starmade I had some episode called Space Station Penetration or something like that, and this is actually a more accurate picture of that, especially once we have installed the clamps. Now can you imagine on this side for instance having something that then turns downwards and holds the mothership in position, maybe even straightens it out a little bit. I mean, we will still have to do a little bit of tweaking here. For instance, I will have to look down and fly up at the same time. Yeah, okay, that is much better. Now the question is, do we want to get in this far? Probably not. We probably want to fly backwards slightly up to this point right here. Stop. Okay, yeah, this could be the docking position of the mothership. What do you think? I actually do like the idea of that. Oh, look at that. I need a very good system in order to help me out with this docking process. I just want to get it somewhere into a line and then the system will more or less do the job for me. I just have to press forwards or something like that. Okay, let me get this perfectly straight. We want to fly a little bit to the left and move to the right, even though that sounded very confusing. Yeah, look at that. It's already much better. Oh my god, stop! No! Okay, there we go. This is as centered as I can get it. This must be the final position. So let's think about how to help this ship be a little bit more stable. I'm gonna do a little bit of off-camera work and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I thought about this for a little bit and something I've already done is made some kind of a stopper frame. This shall help me to aim the mothership properly, but after this process something automatic should be happening. Maybe we can do it with some kind of a trigger area, I'm not yet sure. However, I also made myself a bunch of rail dockers and rail rotational units counterclockwise and clockwise, and you do this in the standard factory right here. If we have a look into here and change the production, set the filter to rail, then you get all of the related blocks. Okay, now I think I want 3 sets of clamps. However, I only want to use 1 rotational unit for that. So let's think about this quickly. I'm probably gonna end up having the first rotational unit somewhat here in this area. We need to be careful how we want to set this up. Probably right here would be a good spot. Of course, onto this baby then we can attach a separate chip representing the clam. I'm also gonna set the lighten mode. Oh my gosh, it hurts my eyes! Somewhere in the background we actually need additional blocks. So right here I want to have the same rail as before, so a counterclockwise rail, and then we're gonna set a clockwise rail right here. Now it did do the same thing on the other side. We will have to do it the opposite way on the other side, so maybe I'm actually gonna disable the symmetry plane for this project. So right here, since this block is turning into this direction, this would mean the clamp is closed. Okay, so this is the default stage, the stage where we are first gonna build it at. We want to be able to close the gate with this block and open it up with this one. Okay, great. This should work perfectly. Now we need a bunch of activation modules. They're probably also done in here, aren't they? Let's see, we want a button first. Yeah, perfect. Let's create about 2 of those guys. I actually prefer not to overcraft things for some reason. Now that we are fully dedicated to crafting and survival mode, I want to have a more sorted inventory. Okay, if you don't know about how rails work, you can actually place an activation module or a button in this case next to the module and it will automatically be interacting with it. Then I can select this unit here, the button, and hook it up with the final object that I want to influence. I'm gonna do the same thing with this button over here, hook it up. So you can see it is rotating clockwise now. So if I want to change it into this direction, I just have to activate it and the arrow will have switched, as you can see. So this is the closing stage and this is the opening stage. Okay, now we only need to create something that looks cool, looks clam-like, and does serve the exact purpose I want it to serve. So I guess I'm gonna make a little cut right here and I'll be right back once we have made some more progress. Okay guys, here we are at the next step. I already outlined the shapes of the clamps that I want to have. Right now they are extracted or they are in the unlocked stage. And if we want to change that, of course, we have to press the button currently, which is this one right here, and the entire thing will switch around. Of course, right now it is doing it rather quickly, but we can easily adjust that using speed controllers. But there you go, this is actually a shape where we can exactly enclose the winglets of the mother ray right here. However, in the process I managed to catapult the mothership away because I was messing around with the opening and closing stage of this thing. Another thing that I realized once the mothership was gone, that this frame is rather ugly, but do not worry, here is actually gonna be a large building. I just kind of outlined the area that I need to leave free in order for a building to be able to exist here. And the mothership still being able to dock. Another thing we're also gonna do, like this is the exact center here, we can actually add a door that leads into the building and therefore we will be able to access the building directly from the mothership once we have docked it. Once we're coming out of the mothership, we could use a trigger area in order to release those clamps. But anyway, I will have to do the same thing on the other side. Unfortunately, we will have to build this twice. I cannot even make a blueprint out of it because I need to have it mirrored. Right, so there's no way for me to get around that. However, the clamps are also not finished. They do not look thick enough, and of course I didn't use the correct materials. But you know, you have to get started somewhere, don't you? So let's test the system. We are gonna open up the clamps. And I just see this might actually be a little bit too tight here if I want to smooth this out a little bit. But yeah, again, let's have a look into our inventories. What kind of blocks do we have that would look nice on there? I think I definitely want to include a bunch of blue rock just because we have so much of that stuff. But then also I want to include some of my precious blocks. The advanced armor blocks. Let's see, we do have a lot of white. This could look good. Okay, great. Let's actually pack up our build block in case we need to adapt something on the station. And we're gonna go into our little ship core in order to access the mothership and get it into position once more. Holy cow, we really might need a better camera view in order to make this happen. But okay, so far so good. We're coming in slowly but surely and we want to aim right here for the dead center. Okay. I can move all the way forward to here. There we go, until we are being stopped by the stopper block. And then another thing I want to make sure is that the blue arrow on the bottom is more or less pointing downwards. Something like that. But then again, I will have to check in the build mode. Yeah, that's what I thought. Ooh, that's not good. We need a better camera on the mothership. Maybe something right here would be better so we can actually see the ray as it penetrates the station. Okay, that looks much better. But we are not perfectly straight. Not at all straight. Oh no. Okay, what we could do maybe in order to prevent this from being so difficult is expand the station into this direction and kind of force it to be more or less straight. I mean, we do have a little bit of leeway, but not too much. Okay, you know what? We're actually first gonna test out the camera theory. So for that, we're gonna hop outside of here, and now we need to fly back to the station. Alright, I guess we're gonna place down the build block once more, check out the station, and what did I want to do? Oh, I only wanted to craft something. Right, a camera. That's probably also the standard factory, isn't it? It is indeed. Camera, please craft myself a camera. I'm actually gonna make a second camera and a third one just in case we might want to add a bunch more of those. Just making sure that we have enough stuff. And back into the mothership we go. Okay, inside the build mode, I guess we can use the camera and kind of eyeball the perfect position, maybe somewhat like this. We could go even closer. If we placed the camera right here, then it's almost like a visor. But it's not high up enough. Yeah, I'm actually gonna test it out right here. It needs to be pointing forwards, obviously, somewhat like this. Okay, let's test it out. We can use the arrow keys to switch between the cameras. Oh my gosh, there we go. This is the view. Oh yeah, this is so much better. Look at this. Now I can actually finally do some fine adjustments without making a complete fool out of myself. Okay, so I think this is more or less already a very good solution. Look at that. I can just snuggle myself in here. And now we seem to be having the perfect angle going on. Well, I'm causing a little bit of server lag, but what you gonna do? Okay, let's check within the build mode. How are we doing? This must be enough. I mean, look at that. This is the perfect docking position. And with this camera, it's not such a hassle to achieve. Right, so now the players would just go through this hallway. Probably I'm gonna install a gravity unit so that we can just fall down, and then we would go through a giant door into the building of the space station, which currently isn't in existence just yet, and this would activate those clamps. Let's actually now do this manually, just to see what is happening, because I still haven't perfectly parked it, as you can see. However, the building will of course provide much more coverage, so mistakes like this will be much less likely. However, let's do this. Okay, are you ready? There we go. Closing, and oh yes, it actually it works. I'm glad about that. You see that they perfectly enclose the mother ray, and therefore they do a beautiful job. Right, so in this episode I'm probably only gonna end up building the first half of the clamps. Of course, the other side I will have to rebuild entirely. However, now it's time to make those a little bit thicker and decorate them. So they definitely need to be about 3 thick or even more. And I do want to include the white hull. I also would like to include a bunch of wedges, so I will have to go into a crafting spree for wedges, which is something I put off for the time being because we are still not producing enough hull. However, I do have some wedges from the pirates, so maybe we are actually gonna use those guys up. However, I actually also like the looks of the blue rock. If we disable the lighten mode, you can see it doesn't look too shabby. Right, so let's make 2 layers of blue rock. And then we're gonna round it up with a bunch of red rock, even though most of the stuff we will not be able to see because I'm wedging over it. So it's just like the ground color. There we go. Okay, that looks already much more like a respectable clam. A clam I would actually trust. Yeah, how about that? And then the color scheme of the center clam, which by the way is perfectly centered, will be basically the opposite. Oh man, I feel like we have to make them a lot thicker. I will probably have to think about that without the pressure of recording. So this might actually be something I do off camera. However, we can think about the area right here, because of course I do want this to have a purpose into this direction. So we'll probably end up expanding the station in a way so that it fits the shapes of the mothership. I mean, it looks as though we will be able to expand this platform without any issues quite far, actually. Okay, let's use the blue rock terrain just to see how much we can expand this. Oh yeah, look at that. It's crazy. It's gonna be great. Okay, so we can make half of the mothership disappear beneath the station and make something really cool out of it. And I think I might even end up making these clamps so thick that only a few parts of the array are then exposed. Just because I do like the concept a lot, it's gonna work out, and with the new camera we can also easily dock it. What do you think about that? Alright guys, I will have to wrap up this video shortly. However, I did take myself the liberty of adding a whole bunch of things. Well, at least it felt to me like a whole bunch of things. I'm not really sure whether or not you can see it, but I basically expanded the platform all the way on top of where I thought is a safe zone to build, so that we can still park the mothership beneath it, and I even made a little wall right here, an encasement ensuring that we're also not going too far forwards, and it will give us another indication how well we are parked. I also made a bunch of wall decorations, so this is basically the first part of the additions to the space station. This part I'm probably gonna use in some kind of a hangar sense. So here we're gonna have a whole bunch of small ships parked. I'm not yet sure how we're gonna do it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the results of this episode. It gave me lots of tasks to complete before we are gonna launch the next one on the next weekend. I'm definitely gonna finish up the clamps and I'm gonna make them look rather epic, so do not worry, it's just a tiny little thing at the moment and it needs expansion. But as usual, functionality overlooks first. But other than that guys, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, have a great time, and hopefully I'm gonna catch you soon. Bye bye.